Good afternoon, members of the media, and to the people of Bermuda. In our recent throne speech, the government of Bermuda firmly took another step forward to act on our mission to ease the burden of rising costs in Bermuda. We know what our people are facing, and for too long, the weight of increasing prices for food, housing, electricity, and everyday essentials has strained families, challenged our seniors, and tested small businesses. The 2025 throne speech was clear. This government is focused on people, not politics. And we are delivering a vision built around your daily realities with policies designed to support Bermudians across every stage of life. Our priorities are simple, but meaningful. Ensuring every child receives a quality education, guaranteeing our seniors can age with dignity, expanding access to affordable housing so that every Bermudian has a place to call home, transforming healthcare by making it more accessible, more affordable, and more responsive, and tackling the cost of living by confronting the soaring prices of food, energy, and essential goods head on. The newly focused Ministry of Home Affairs has been tasked with one mission: to bring down the cost of living, because we know that affordability is the greatest challenge facing Bermudians today. The cost of food, energy, and essential goods is unsustainable, and the burden of these high costs and that they place on our families and businesses are insurmountable. We recognize that this challenge is complex and broad in scope, yet interconnected, requiring collaboration, innovation, and solutions across multiple ministries. We further believe that lasting solutions require the entire Bermuda ecosystem, and we aim to work with ministries, with businesses, community leaders, nonprofit partners, and everyday Bermudians. Real change happens when we act together. As we chart our path, the Ministry of Home Affairs will first focus to address the cost of living challenges through the pillars directly under our remit, which include stabilizing energy costs and promoting our energy transition, addressing the rising cost of essential goods, and advancing the principles and policies that result in consumer protection, safeguarding these changes through the reform of regulatory oversight. Our energy sector is at a crossroads. The Integrated Resource Plan, known as the IRP, has laid out a transformative path towards sustainable and cost-effective electricity. Since 2019, we've been laying the groundwork to reduce fossil fuels dependence and transition to modern energy solutions. The goals defined in our IRP include reducing our fossil fuel reliance, stabilizing costs, infrastructure development, outreach and education on energy-efficient technologies and conservation, and deploying new technologies through a sustainable future as our goal. Energy transitions worldwide are being addressed systematically, and we endeavor to do the same. This day one reality means that while customers may not see major improvements in their bills overnight, they should feel confident knowing that the next phase is designed to stabilize electricity bills through amending the Electricity Act to ensure transparent and efficient operations. We recognize that no Bermudian should feel powerless when prices rise without justification. And so, as defined in our throne speech, we are moving forward with legislation to ensure stronger consumer rights and oversight in key sectors, because accountability should never be optional. Today, I am proud to announce the first ever Bermuda Cost of Living Summit. This forum will bring together all sectors of government, private industry, unions, nonprofits, residents, and will confront structural drivers of high cost of living and identify actionable solutions, both short and long term. In the lead up to the summit, the ministry has launched a two-part engagement effort: stakeholder consultations with businesses, a survey which is already underway, engage with service providers and community leaders to identify barriers, bottlenecks, and solutions from every sector, and those findings will support focus group efforts to better drill down the core drivers of costs in Bermuda. We will then launch a public survey in the coming days, which will capture lived experiences and ideas from residents on how affordability challenges are affecting their lives. The insights gathered will inform a cost of living report, and will provide clear recommendations for reform, especially in consumer protection and regulatory oversight. We know that this issue cannot be solved overnight. What we can pledge is that we will advance our next steps with urgency, transparency, and action. This isn't about numbers or a bottom line, it's about people. It's about parents deciding between groceries and school supplies. It's about seniors choosing between medicine and electricity. It's about small businesses fighting to stay afloat. The Ministry of Home Affairs and its mandate is at the heart of quality of life in Bermuda. And while we know change takes time, we are taking bold action now to lay the foundation for lasting relief. We care, we have listened, and we have heard you. We remain unwavering in our commitment to advance a fairer and more affordable Bermuda for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Appreciate your opening remarks. We're going to open it up to questions from the media. We're going to actually start with Bermuda Broadcasting at this stage. That's fine, Leslie, you can have it. It's fine. Bring it to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Minister Lightbourne, for your remarks this afternoon. Now, your ministry has been given quite the mandate of reducing the cost of living. And as you said, we're not going to see change overnight. But are there any concrete timelines that you can provide of when residents might start to feel the benefits in their pockets, on their energy bills and on their food receipts?
Sure. Thank you for your question. And since my appointment, I have first sought to understand the landscape, understand what the ministry has already advanced to date. You would note the 2020 amendment of the cost of living, which included the cost of living commission's remit, and the 33 essential goods that have already been enshrined in law to be able to have duty free for those essential goods. Our efforts are now to be able to further collect data and information through surveys and stakeholder engagements to better understand the landscape, better understand the businesses' challenges, residents' challenges alike, and then inform a strategy to be able to impact the cost of living in a sustainable way.
Understood. And you announced details of a cost of living summit. Can you provide the date of when that will happen?
So the date has not been confirmed as yet, but it will be happening before the end of the year, ideally in the summer months. But we are first trying to ensure that we understand the data, understand what has happened kind of in the marketplace so far, what are the lived experiences, some of the threats that we know through the current tariff announcements in the U.S. and how that might impact our environment. And the cost specifically of these goods. And so that will inform the path forward and inform the time of the summit.
Okay. And earlier this week, you announced that residents will see an increase in their electricity bills. Do you believe the current regulatory framework is adequately protecting consumers?
I definitely believe that there are efforts that can be advanced, and the government will seek to understand to the regulatory environment and some of the legal provisions that may be eligible for reform and adjustment to then ensure that we are protecting and advancing fairness both in our policies and our regulations.
Okay. And just lastly, turning to sustainability and renewable energy, will your ministry be taking any steps to reduce Bermuda's dependence on a single energy provider and empower alternative solutions?
Absolutely. Our IRP, as referred to in my remarks, includes our energy roadmap to 2035. And so that roadmap we've already seen through the uptick of solar installations, a couple of larger solar developments as well, which have power purchase agreements with the utility. But I do believe that diversification in our environment and in our energy sources is required, and our IRP has defined the way in which we can do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate your questions, and I'll turn it over now to Siku from the Royal Gazette to ask a few questions of the minister as it relates to the throne speech press briefing.
Good morning, Minister. Thank you for bringing us over here. I understand that you said this will be something that'll be overtaken over really throughout the year. But one thing I did want to bring up too was with the RA powers to limit the Belco charges. Do you know exactly which charges would be considered and how much this could possibly save?
So the cost savings is something that is calculated, or the confirming what you're speaking to is the base rate. So the base rate is what, as consumers would know, there are multiple tiers which come out in their bills every month. And so there's a fuel adjustment rate, which is the most recent increase that is intended to be in effect in April 1st. But the base rate is what you're speaking to. And so those charges and the base rate calculation is what the RA, in collaboration with the government and the utility, will seek to further explore, better understand, to reform it and see ways in which we can further promote energy, or rather cost savings for the ratepayer.
I see. And again, is there any ballpark range of how much could be saved through these initiatives?
No, without the data to inform a response, we wouldn't be able to forecast that.
Okay, thank you. And secondly, I understand that there are supposed to be duty cuts, or there are hopes to be duty cuts to customs duty cuts to essential goods. Can you just please explain to me what these essential items would be? So how much, obviously with regards to food, but also just kind of beyond that. So what these essential items will be, and what else might be included in these duty cuts?
So you're speaking to the at present 33 essential goods are currently eligible for 0% duty. The government, through its efforts of surveys, focus groups, and further stakeholder engagement, as well as engagement with the public, will be able to best inform the expansion of those categories of essential goods and which goods will be therefore also included.
Okay, thank you. And finally, this might be a little bit more of a personal question towards you. I understand that this is, excuse me, that you have worked with cost of living before alongside the Premier, but you've been really brought onto quite a monumental role with Home Affairs being focused solely, more or less, on cost of living. Overall, how does it feel to take on this sort of monumental task, for lack of better words?
It is, I take it as an honor and also a great challenge, noting that it will require collaboration. I think cost of living is such a broad and complex, subject and matter to address, and so it will require cross-ministerial collaboration. But the areas under my direct remit is where we will begin by charting that path towards lowering costs for all who live and work in Bermuda. So I'm honored, and I am rolling up my sleeves and engaging with stakeholders, members of the public, to better inform our actions as a ministry.
Sounds like cross-ministerial work is going to be a big effect on you and your ministry moving forward. Is that safe to say?
Well, I mean, there are 3 areas that fall under my direct remit, to include energy, consumer affairs, the regulatory authority as the Quango body under the remit of Home Affairs. And so we'll start there, and then as more information and insights are gathered, we'll then see the areas in which we might seek to further collaborate with the other ministries, but we are one government seeking to achieve the same objective.
Thank you very much for your help, Ms. Lightbourne.
Thank you.
All right, Siku, thank you very much. Thank you very much, members of the media. That looks as though it concludes our press briefing this afternoon. I encourage our viewers, if they wish to watch the press briefing from the top, they can go to our CITV YouTube channel. And thank you very much, all members of the media, for attending today. That concludes our press briefing.
Thank you.